My name is Guildford Joe Thomas. I'm the founder of Black Vegans of Toronto and the owner-manager of BVOT Brandon Street Farm. I started developing this farm 2 years ago. One of the owners of this land, this 104 acres, it's owned by a black group of people with great foresight. The president called me. He heard that I was looking for land to start a farm, and he contacted me. Came, saw it, loved it, and myself and the rest, and some members of my vegan group, we are working on it together, developing the farm. This essentially is a self-help program. When I was doing research for my book about 4 years ago, I realized that as a race, black people are suffering more severely than any other race from all the chronic diseases. And most of these diseases are foodborne diseases that can be cured or corrected or eliminated by adopting a healthier lifestyle. This led me to, one, promoting veganism in our black community, and also the extension of that is providing an opportunity for us to have our own food, knowing where it comes from, clean, healthy, and affordable. Very often I've been asked, why did I want to have a separate black vegan group? Why couldn't we just join existing vegan groups? The impetus to start this group really came from the research that I did with when I was writing my book. I discovered that we had all these nutritional challenges and health challenges based on what we culturally as black people were eating. I checked, and there was no vegan group specifically for black people, and I decided that I should start one. The initial response was fantastic. A lot of people loved the idea and came on board, and we've been growing ever since. I think we're up to about 540 people right now. We had a spurt in growth over the past few weeks, and we expect to continue to grow. We've had challenges in the sense that some people say, we have eaten this way all our years, and for them, without having the background information that I have or that we have about the real state of our health, they just believe that we're doing fine. We also have this attitude that once you get old, you're supposed to get sick. Quite a few of my friends and family say, well, something is going to take you. My position is that quality of life is important. Whether it's life at 15 or life at 115. And the way to do that is to be healthy, and the way to be healthy in one part of it, at least one major part of it, is what you put in your body. If you want to get peak performance, just like in a car, you're not going to put cheap gasoline. The other challenge is the cost. To me, it has been exoticized to a certain extent, where you have to buy food you have to get all this food from Whole Foods and these expensive places. No, you don't. Organic food like what we're growing here is quite affordable. Healthy eating and access to clean, healthy food is not a privilege. For us, it is a right. We all have a right to good food. Another challenge is the concept of veganism that many of us have. And the concept, granted, came from the concept of white veganism. In the concept of black people is boring, pale, tasteless food. We are changing that. In our group, we have fantastic chefs like Chef Amina, who has Hummingbird Culinary Arts, who does some magic with food and has people just amazed at how good so-called vegan food can taste. Another fantastic chef in our group, Charlene Ford, who has the Melanated Vegan. Two excellent chefs who show every day that this food can not only be healthy, but extremely appetizing and tasty. I've had quite a few people who've tried to join the group, and when they were rejected, were pretty upset. We can collaborate, we can work with other groups on mutually beneficial projects. We can share information, but essentially this group is for Black people and it's by Black people. We have seen a spike in people wanting to join our group over the past 3 weeks, and I attribute that to the awareness and the consciousness of Black Lives Matter. For us, the quality of Black Lives Matter just as much or even more. In terms of being involved with the broader vegan community in Toronto, we've had very little contact with the broader community. It is not any slight to them. We are focused on taking care of our own. Our focus is on our health. The main focus on a lot of these vegan groups is on animal rights. In our context, we have to survive before we can help animals. So from that perspective, we put our health first. By default, whatever we do in terms of encouraging veganism and encouraging people to eat less animals, by default animals will benefit. None of us enjoy or would encourage anybody to slaughter animals for food. As a matter of fact, we emphasize over and over again that it is not necessary to kill animals for food to be healthy. So it's not that there was any strain in our relationship with, like for instance, the Toronto Vegetarian Association. There just wasn't any relationship. This year, the new executive invited us to be involved in this year's Veg Fest, and we are happy to be part of it. We're happy to tell our story as we're doing now, and we're happy for their recognition and their offer to help us promote and facilitate the healthy state of Black people in Toronto. We need support in spreading the word in our community about the importance of changing to a plant-based lifestyle, because veganism now has a connotation that sometimes people kind of shy away from. We have a lot of plans to expand next year, so we would need resources, financial and otherwise. We're open to mutually beneficial partnerships, but one of the ways that we can really get support is by people, particularly white vegans, who I hope will now understand why we have this group and not feel that we are being exclusionary in a negative way. If you really appreciate what we're trying to do, then you cannot be offended by us wanting to keep our group and wanting the focus of our group to be what it is. We have 10 acres of land out of the 104 acres that we are scheduled or targeting for a 5-year expansion. The long-range plan is to grow quite a lot of food that would be distributed free at very low cost in some cases, and also in the prepared form throughout our community. That's the initial plan. We plan to expand and just grow a whole lot of food. It's not a big scientific project. It's growing food and getting the resources to do that, and then distributing that food so that we have a healthier community. The more we can grow food, the more we can address this critical problem. Nobody's dealing with it. There's no government program specifically targeting this problem in our community. We have some band-aid things, like right now with the COVID crisis, there's emergency food boxes. And when the so-called emergency is over, what happens to these people who need food on an ongoing basis. So the expansion of this farm is part of that long-range plan. And this is not exclusive. There are other groups, Black Creek Farm, I'm co-chair of that organization on the board. Excellent work. They've been doing it for a while. African Food Basket, with my good friend Zola. He's been in the trenches for the longest while. These are people who are working hard to do what we're trying to do. We are now putting our hands into the soil, literally, to help deal with this ongoing challenge of poor quality food. So it's not the full solution, but it's an important part of the solution that we're working on. I definitely want to extend a special heartfelt thank you to the group that owns this amazing expansion here. Paget, Jacques, the rest of the owners. Thank you for welcoming us into this. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to grow food. Thank you for the partnership. We are working as a non-profit group together to develop this. Thank you for buying into the idea and the concept that we're talking about, and the unlimited support that we're getting for this. It's just amazing how well things have been going so far. I can't list all the names, but I have to thank everyone who has come here at whatever stage to contribute, whether it's a day, an hour, to build plant boxes, to fill the boxes, to do whatever level of farm work. My daughter, my grandchildren, they all came up and helped. And then the backbone of my crew, Noessa and Jeremy, they're here all the time. Amina bringing the food for us every weekend. It's a whole lot of people to thank. But it's a great team effort, and it has been a wonderful time so far, despite all the challenges.